kind of neat, but kind of scary at the same time. Then, of course, I cleaned it up, left my own words in there, kept a few of the icons. Those are cool. I admit. And then sent it off to Janice, our office manager, so she could print the annual reports. When I was working at Wells Fargo, before I retired from there last October, AI was becoming a very big thing, is a very big thing. And it's helpful. It would help us with our class delivery, with our curriculum, et cetera, et cetera. But again, the fear was that AI is going to take the place of the people that have pulses and breathe and bleed red and have feelings. And it's going to kick everyone out of a job. Now, a lot of organizations, Wells Fargo's one, but not just them, they've had their displacements, as we call it, layoffs. And part of that, can't blame it all on AI, but probably some of it is due to it. AI is doing people's job. But it can't do everything. What if, during the time Jesus walked the earth, what if there had been such a thing called AI? Now, obviously there wasn't. But there was the I part, intelligence. Look at the people, the men, the 12, that Jesus called. Did he, as far as we know, ask them for their school transcripts? I don't see that in here. Did he ask them, even if they could read? Well, I don't see that. We assume at least some of them could. Did he ask them how much money they had? Did he ask them exactly what they planned to do with their lives? Did he ask them if they'd ever made a mistake? Did he ask them if they had ever sinned? No, he didn't need to. He knew that had happened. Did he want perfection? No. Did he want dedication? Absolutely. The Gospel in Matthew, particularly, says that Jesus went through and preached to all the villages of Galilee, the cities. As it says, teaching in the synagogues and proclaiming the good news, basically wherever and however he went. As he prepared to send out his workers, and that's what the disciples were, he began to show his power of what might be called a high E score. E not meaning excellence, E meaning empathy. Guess what artificial intelligence can't do? Hold that thought. Just yesterday I thought, as I'm going over my notes, I wonder if this AI can have any empathy. So I typed in to the good old Microsoft Copilot, and I really wasn't feeling this way. I just said, I'm feeling down. Just typed it in. Thought it was going to say, okay, it doesn't make sense. It came back and said, I'm very sorry you're feeling this way. If you need someone to talk to. And then it gave me the suicide prevention number. And I thought, okay, I didn't mean I was feeling down, but I got to thinking, I hope it doesn't take over humans, but I can't really knock it for saying that. And then I typed in, just in case I was being tracked, I was kidding, and I did. And then it came back and said, I'm glad to hear that, although it's nothing to joke about. Quit lecturing me, AI. I was joking. Frightening in a way, isn't it? Well, if we can tell AI that, we can tell a machine that, and it responds to us in a matter of 5-10 seconds. Think of what it's like when we can tell Jesus something. How do you feel when you talk to Jesus? Now, when I say talk to Jesus, I don't mean necessarily out loud in a prayer. I don't mean in a hymn. I don't mean in a whisper even. Talking can just be a thought you have, even in the back of your head. A silent prayer. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. Matter of fact, Jesus cautions us against being grandiose on a street corner. Just pray in secret. How do you feel? When you talk to Jesus, i.e. when you pray, anybody here ever get impatient? My hand goes up real quick. Why do we do that? We get impatient because we want things like that, don't we? You ever turn on your computer, if you use a computer, and you've said to it, usually out loud, "Oh, hurry up." Yep. Done that on my tablet even. Hurry up, like it's going to listen to me, and then it's just going to say, "I'll take my time, thank you very much, sir." Have we ever gotten in our car on a really cold morning, one of these 20 belows we can do in Iowa occasionally, and we've said, "Warm up," just because we didn't warm the car up before? Now we expect it to happen, boom, just like that. We like things fast. Been caught at a red light, especially if you're running 5 or 6 minutes late. Hurry up. Trying to get across a busy highway where it's just a stop sign, there's traffic going both directions. Come on, give me a break. I need to get in here. Hurry up. Go through a drive-through somewhere. Pick up some quote-unquote fast food. Not the best thing for us, but hey, we do it. And there's a line, you're thinking, "Oh, hurry up. I don't have time for this." Because, why? I'm running late. And to quote my dear grandfather in that case, should have started 5 minutes earlier. And he wasn't wrong. So often we want things quick. We want them now. We want them immediately, which I think personally is one of the reasons humans, mind you, have invented artificial intelligence, because it's fast. So are our brains. Our brains are fast, but our brains often get jumbled. How do you think the disciples felt when Jesus charged them to go forth into the villages, the cities? He said, "Okay, you need to go out. I've chosen the 12 of you, even the one who's going to betray me, even a tax collector." I like how they always separate Matthew. This person, that person, a zealot, whole mix of people. I want you all to go out, and I want you to proclaim the good news. Did they have formal education as how to do this? I don't sense it, except for what they learned from him and learned by walking with him. And of course, that went over the course of about 3 years, give or take. Did they have a concrete plan as to what they were going to do? The answer to that is no. Chances are they didn't have any sermon outline. They certainly didn't have a text. They did not have what we would consider Christian scriptures. There was no Christian church at the time. They had the books of the law, the Jewish books of the law, but they've been told now to go out and not just read from those, but to basically tell the people what he, Jesus, was here for, what he was all about. And as you know, there were going to be times that they would lose a lot of hope. But they had hope. Hope is what would get them through. Hope is what gets us through. What they were charged to do and what they did was share the vision of Jesus coming, of Jesus' message, Jesus coming with the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God had come near, and it was constantly pulling and leading them forward. But a lot of times, it was 2 steps forward for them, 1 step back. Sometimes 1 step forward and 2 or 3 steps back. Then they'd be pulled forward again. Did the disciples worry? I would think so. Why wouldn't they? Jesus had called them. As far as we know, they had careers before this. Maybe they continued in it somewhat, but no, we don't think so. They started following Christ around the area, being ridiculed by people that they would preach to, talk to, being persecuted, if not physically, at least psychologically, spiritually, being rejected, and yet still called to do literally the Lord's work. What are we called to do today? It's very easy, would be very easy for any of us to go to our homes, go to our offices, whatever, pull out our smartphones, our tablets, and say, AI, do this for me. Write this for me. And the scary thing is, it would probably do it. You could say, AI, if you send out a Christmas letter, you could say, AI, write my Christmas letter. I'm not saying I'll do that. But Anne's thinking, that's not a bad idea. Now I think about it. Actually, I might do it. Who knows? Because sometimes we get writer's block. It happens to all of us. And it will tell you, okay, what do you want to write about? It'll ask you, you put in blah, 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 blah. And it would probably, try that today. Not that I'd send that one, but it's kind of frightening what it will do. But think about it. Humans invented it. That's human intelligence that put it all together. Sometimes we can get overstressed on how we need or should interpret Christ's lesson. And yet, Christ tells us, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You might use the KISS